Yes.
I do understand perfectly, but if we're putting this like the world the ideas, and the actual physical world, wouldn't want that one depends on the other or the other depends on the one above, even if that existed 20 billion years ago and it will keep existing, if the bottom part doesn't exist, how is that one going to exist?
Oh, well. Because what Plato thinks is this. I mean, ask yourself if it's wrong. Suppose that there wasn't any matter. Suppose there wasn't any matter or energy in the universe. There wasn't anything like that at all. These would all still be valid. All these proofs would still be valid. All of math and logic would still just be hanging right there. It doesn't depend. This is Plato's. This is hardcore Platonic line, right? It doesn't depend on any matter existing at all. It's not. In other words, it's not an equal relationship. You know, this stuff is all contingent. There could have been matter. There could have not been any matter. Why is there matter? There didn't have to be matter. Nature doesn't have to be the way that it turned out to be. It could have been some other way. This stuff is all necessary. It's not contingent. Necessarily, the entailments of math and logic are what they are. So, and then think about, remember, I mentioned the math proofs that nobody's discovered yet. They're real. They're all just there. And they're all there whether any physical universe exists or not. So that's it. So he'd take your question and go right at it. He'd go see that, he'd go right at it really directly. And say, as a matter of fact, this level of reality, which remember I was saying to you last time, is it's more real. And then he figures out the scale more like that. This stuff doesn't come to be and pass away. And it's eternal, so it's not created or anything like that. So he would say this is more real. And as you go down, like take the circles, for example. You identify something in terms of sort of what it is or its properties. Something that's real close to, is closer to the form, like if you went to a Jesuit school, like Christ, always approachable, never attainable. See, Christ is like the ideal form of a person, right? Yet it's all Platonism. Then you start to get farther away, so you just lose form, and that's what nothingness is. Yeah, chaos. Nothingness or chaos. So down at the bottom of the material, there's a sense. When he thinks about being and non-being, it is different from the way we think of being and non-being. There's a sense that completely chaotic matter, in a sense, is nothing. It's nothing. Whereas pure being is formal being, which doesn't depend on any material instantiation to exist at all. That's the thing. And so if he makes the form matter, just to finish up today because we're out of time, but if Plato can convince us that the form-matter distinction is real, that it makes sense to talk about matter exists, but that form also exists, and you could just have oatmeal universe. You could just have a completely chaotic and therefore completely homogeneous universe that didn't have any form to it at all. That could have been. But you don't. You have a universe that's organized by all these properties. So if that's true, then there's a sense in which materialism is shown to be false. Because now we have two questions. We have one question, why does something exist rather than nothing? Which is kind of a basic philosophical question. But if there's another question, which is, why is something that exists organized? Why does it reveal formal organization? If that's another question that there is no answer to, there are those two questions, and again, it looks like some kind of dualism is actually right. Remember, I started off by saying, I'm a physicalist, I'm a materialist, I want to stop dualism. If you know, the form matter distinction goes through, then it looks like materials is not with you. Yeah, you can say, and then we have to go. What's your, yeah.
So they don't in any case but believe in angels and stuff like that because in a way that's like the psyche but doesn't have a physical form. To us, hormones, they believe in hormones.
Yeah, they do. Well, he believes in fate. He roughly, when he talks about God, he means sort of the thing that makes the universe intelligible, the thing that makes the universe a place that can be understood. And so you sort of, and you get a sort of sense of the universe, the formal universe is kind of a big mind. We'll talk about that some more next time, but we're out of time for now. So that was good, except I just gave you all the latest metaphysics. That's okay, because it takes a while to think about it.